The first one steals its name from a scientific book, although it's not very scientific. The book is scientific, my poem is not. The Lives of a Cell. I can't remember being one cell. My sensations in that first moment before I began to divide. But years later, I recalled the odor of lilacs, holding a wilted sprig in my hand, the water in the wine bottle tepid, like a stagnant bacterial pond. Lilac fragrance filled our room for days, impossible to escape, subsuming us when we toasted the first warm sun with cheap rosé and saved the empty bottles. Now I remember nothing but lilacs, how they stayed after you left. So there was never any need for letters, the stale water digesting the fallen petals, until I had to dump the bottles to erase the sour smell, unable to recover the fragrance or the brightest sun before the maples exploded with leaves. I see you're building a new home, room by room, southern exposure, a bed for lilacs. It looks odd to me, rising so abruptly among the startled pines, but I have no eye for architecture. Since it's election season, I wanted
Wow.
to share a poem. I want to share a poem about my grandfather, who actually ran for the state legislature in Minnesota when I was younger. It was called The Boxer's Choice. My grandfather ran without a platform, independent, a referee. Like Jack Dempsey in his New York restaurant, he recalled every face, even those he never met, with a faith he would know them when he spoke their will in the House, and a faith they would know him too for the good man he was. A salesman, he sold for little profit, always discounts for churches and youth groups. He won goodwill in the Catholic neighborhoods, but too few votes in the primary. That summer, politicians and old boxers called at his house. I liked the boxers best, their stretched t-shirts, knotted muscles. They worked stiff-legged jobs and spoke in whispers to hide their accents when they showed me trophies won at the settlement house and given to their Irish coach, who liked helping boys better than selling office machines. They brought him corned beef, root beer, and stories, the food more generous and stories longer as years passed. The politicians drank their whiskey and left, but the boxers stayed on, a wink and a shuffle, most nights until the old man died. I have a lot of poems about house renovations, and so I'd like to share one of those. This one is called Painting the House White. Paint thick in the August heat, never seems to dry. Moist air, heavy with sweat and mosquitoes, resists my running strokes. Gray oak and cedar, parched from years of neglect, thirst for white paint. Old browns and bare trim glow whiter with each dip and slap. I whiten also. Splashes stick to my skin like scabs. Hot pores open, unprimed wood. I remember the summer we painted the house brown, how my rough hands seemed to melt her skin, chocolate tan, and how the flecks of white light on the river below us disappeared as we marked them, like details of a dream. Looking down from my ladder, I watched her long strides cross the State Street Bridge. We never spoke after she left. She seemed to shrink with time, like green lumber, her limbs a silhouette of fallen branches on that autumn day when I thought I saw her kneeling on the river bank to sketch a dead perch washed up on the dark, wet slate. In the evenings, I saw her often, a brown shadow leaning against my porch post, her face to the lights of the valley, her flesh blood warm, present even now in every strip of wood I paint. Tonight, I watch mosquitoes rush the sticky white as if it were bare skin and flail their dark wings in whiteness, the white of death and forgetting. The hot enamel dries as slow as blood. This is a poem that features my father, who was a World War II veteran. And when I was in the service, we saw these old training films that were black and white, and I figured that I probably watched some of the same films that my father did. What to do in the case of a gas attack. My father dug a trench for his fear. By the time he returned, his blisters had healed, and no Axis planes had bombed Minnesota. With his uncashed checks, he bought a mortgage, a 2-story house, brick, no cellar, and an attic with no windows. Upstairs, he built a shower and locker for dry goods, beans, canned peaches, condensed milk, and flour, a baking soda solution, bleaching solution, and soap. Sometimes I heard him climb the stairs at night to check his provisions. Some nights he heard the sirens and clutched my mother's arm. Some nights he never stopped climbing, up through the roof, above the heavy clouds. Okay, I'll end with one more short poem. This is more of a construction poem than a renovation poem. This is called How to Build a House. First, wait until the snow clears. Pull on rubber boots with wide soles so you will not damage the carpet. Walk until you find a depression where deer have rested in tall grass. Here you will sleep. Walk out of the bedroom and turn in a circle until your eyes water, facing the wind. Here you will place your chair. The roof is self-explanatory, but walls are something you will raise yourself. Be sure to plan your windows. Now call your friends and gather sticks for a fire. If it snows before morning, you will have to begin again. Thanks.